Insights on Jesse Mecham's You Need a Budget. Overview. What do you want to do with your money? Jesse Mecham addresses money concerns for anyone regardless of financial status, and you need a budget. Mecham is the CEO of YNAB, a software and education company he founded in 2004 when he was a newlywed grappling with a low income. Mecham established a budgeting system that continues to help thousands of people worldwide. Often, we ask ourselves the wrong questions about money and the way it should be spent. Likewise, we are often paralyzed by the thought of a rigid budget. However, once we identify what we want to do with our money, we can adopt a flexible budget that we constantly adapt to fit our lives. By prioritizing spending to meet your desired goal, whether it is to travel once a year or pay your student debts, you free yourself from the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. All you need is a solid system and the YNAB mindset. Insights from Chapter 1. Number 1. Budgeting is not about a spreadsheet detailing what you need to spend in a month. This system lacks flexibility and doesn't allow you to prioritize your spending, especially if there isn't enough money for everything. Number 2. Your budget is all about thinking ahead. Just make sure you don't forecast future money. That cash will be great when it hits your account, but you're only concerned with making sure the money you have today gets you closer to your goals. Number 3. If you set a $400 spending limit and allocate $50 for your cell phone bill, $100 for cable, $100 for dinner for someone special, and $150 for your brother's birthday, you have nothing left for food. All of those are priorities, but you can reconsider the money spent on each. Number 4. Even if you have $150 left from the $400 spending limit, you don't have to spend it on things you don't need. Plan your spending and remember you can't spend money you don't have. Number 5. Budgeting is when you figure out how much money you have and then decide what to spend it on. You decode based on the importance of the things to you and their sequence. You spread out the money to last and never depend on a forecast to pay for priorities. Number 6. Budgeting is not guessing. You are not pretending you know what your expenses will be. You are making a plan based on what you do know about your expenses. And you are making that plan based on reality, not what ifs and maybes. Number 7. If you feel guilty about spending money, it's because you are spending money on things that aren't important to you. If you know something has to change, quit spending money on things you don't care about and save instead. Number 8. If you are not planning, you are throwing money at things as they land in front of you. If you are planning, you can plan for the unplanned. A budget is a plan for the money you have. Insights from Chapter 2. Number 1. Assign a purpose for every dollar. That means you take your paycheck and you decide what to do with it. That is the first rule of the YNAB mindset. Number 2. Identify your obligations. These are the things you have to spend money on, like your mortgage. Nonetheless, you can live on less than you think. You can decide if you want cable or can go without it. It's not about depriving yourself but finding flexibility in where you spend. Number 3. You must always be prepared to pay for your true expenses. True expenses are ones that aren't set monthly like rent but can still hit you whenever. If you consider car insurance as a true expense, it won't feel like a crisis when it's due. Number 4. You must get rid of debt. Debt is in many ways a suffocating obligation, and you need to put aside money to reduce it every month. But you should still include the things you love in your budget. Number 5. Your emotional responses to paying for certain things can help pinpoint your priorities. When spending extra money, think about what would make the future you happy. Number 6. There is no formula or percentage to follow. You're the only expert on your obligations and priorities, and therefore, on your budget. Number 7. Use your credit card but pay the balance each month. Do not rely on next month's income and money that isn't there yet. Avoid getting on the credit card float. Avoid spending more than your income. Insights from Chapter 3. Number 1. Rule 2 is about saving money for the future. You're saving money for big expenses that will happen at some point. These expenses are unpredictable but are bound to happen. Number 2. Rule 2 is all about long-term spending. That's the stuff you do less often, like buying a new computer or a new car. If you have money left over after paying your bills, you should put it towards your future expenses. Number 3. This rule gives you a simple but effective strategy to achieve big goals. Strategically put aside small amounts of money monthly by sacrificing less important things, and you'll be ready to face all your true expenses stress-free. You can always cut your spending. Number 4. Rule 2 also is about choosing to spend your money in a way that gets you closer to the things you want, will make you happy in the future. It's not just about how much money you have, it's about how much you'll have in the future. Number 5. Saving for college might not be the only option, and debt is never a solution. There are different means to pay for college, such as jobs, budgets, and scholarships. You choose what is most important for you. Insights from Chapter 4. Number 1. Rule 3 is about being able to deflect the full force of changes that your budget may face. A budget is a strategy that represents your life, which is subject to adjustments that are out of your control. Your budget needs to be flexible. Number 2. Accountability is not about putting yourself down and feeling like a failure if the budget doesn't work perfectly. Accountability is about reprioritization. If you spend more on dinner than you budgeted, take the difference from the money saved for your goal. Number 3. Consider how time given to you for a project at work is limited. You can't ask for extensions and must adapt to reach the minimum requirements in the given time. Similarly, budgeting is about only spending what you already have and adapting to different situations. Number 4. Sometimes you have to adjust your budget to your spending and not the other way around. Be honest with yourself. Number 5. Rule 2 can sometimes be overshadowed by your values. If you value your family, you will be more willing to reshuffle your budget for bigger expenses when they need it, unlike other emergencies. Number 6. Following the first 2 rules will help prevent severe consequences from sudden unforeseen expenses. The mindset of budgeting gives you the flexibility to rearrange your priorities in times of need. The savings may help sustain you until you're able to rearrange your budget. Insights from Chapter 5. Number 1. Rule 4 of the YNAB mindset is about aging your money. This means to have a certain amount in your savings that stays for a long period of time. It frees you from dependency on your next paycheck. Number 2. It is important to keep track of the input and output of money in your account. The wider the range between the time you put in money and the time you take it out, the more convenience, versatility, and choices you will have if the unexpected happens. Number 3. Aging your money will help you not live paycheck to paycheck, but instead have money on the side that is ready to be spent on future bills. The more time you wait to spend, the more leverage you have. Meanwhile, waiting to pay your debt only stresses you out. Number 4. The first thing you need to do is start tracking your money. You can't save money if you don't know where it is going. When you have a budget, you can see exactly how much you spend on different things and save accordingly. Number 5. Rule 4 is just a byproduct of following the first 3 rules. You don't have to be out of debt or rich to be able to age your money. Number 6. If you need more money, you may have to go to extreme measures to reach your goal. Work part-time, freelance, sell stuff you don't need, or focus on spending less. However, only do this temporarily. Number 7. If you have a big expense coming up, like a baby, and you know you'll have to pay for it with money you don't have, make a plan. Insights from Chapter 6. Number 1. It could be uncomfortable to talk about money with your partner. The best way to overcome this is by having a shared budget. The shared budget isn't about limiting each other. It is about saving up towards shared goals. Number 2. The shared budget makes you aware of your thoughts about money, spending habits, and what you're adding to the arrangement, especially in how it affects your partner. Number 3. The way we are raised affects our ideas about money and money habits. Number 4. Talking to your partner about your money situation, such as debt, can give you clarity and offer a solution. Number 5. A shared budget has 3 sets of priorities: yours, your partner's, and both of yours. That is why sharing values is important. YNAB even advises couples to have a shared account. Number 6. At least once a month, you need to sit with your partner and discuss the budget. You have to decide what you want to do with your money and openly tell each other about it. Then you have to decide how much money you will spend on each thing. Number 7. Budgeting is not about constraining yourself. It's about preparing money that will get you what you want. Insights from Chapter 7. Number 1. If you have debt, you are not in control of your money. Get rid of your debt. That is always a priority. Number 2. Consumer debt is the worst kind of debt, but all debt is equally bad, and it shouldn't even be an option. Number 3. Prioritizing paying your debt doesn't mean taking money out of true expenses funds. You need to find the right balance. Number 4. Budgeting is a lifestyle. It takes hard work and dedication. It may even mean going to temporary extremes, such as freelancing, taking odd jobs, or selling things you don't currently need. Number 5. You need to always live within your means. Insights from Chapter 8. Number 1. It's important to give kids a healthy outlook on money, regardless of your financial status. Number 2. You can help your kids set rules to follow in order to budget. They should set 10% aside for giving to charity and put 50% into savings. The rest is what they can spend freely. Number 3. Do not try to manage or control your kids' spending. Let them make their own decisions after teaching them how to budget. Number 4. Linking money to chores isn't the best idea. Instead, give your children a flat amount of money based on their age. Allowance is a tool for learning. Number 5. The 4 rules can be understood and adapted to fit your children. It is never too late to demonstrate budgeting to your kids. Number 6. Don't pay for stuff for your kids. Give them the money and let them decide how they want to spend it within their budget. Insights from Chapter 9. Number 1. Feeling like you want to stop budgeting is very normal. That's why making sure you have a budget for things you love is important. It could be as low as a $5 fun expense. Number 2. Do not think that there is one perfect budget. If you feel your budget isn't working, it doesn't indicate that you have failed. You have to revisit your budget and make sure to set realistic spending targets and leave breathing room for yourself. Number 3. You can't expect your spending habits to change overnight. You have to gradually alter them. Sometimes it's difficult to budget due to complications like having multiple credit cards. Number 4. A budget is a tool. It's not a prison. If it's not working, you can try something else. Number 5. What you spend your money on is as important as how you spend it. Always review your budget by looking at it from zero. You may be spending way too much on the wrong things. Number 6. Switching from cable to Netflix and Hulu is an example of cheaper and more efficient budgeting. Always ask yourself what you care about and need. Number 7. Budgeting is about delaying your happiness. Number 8. You can make more money by starting your own business and not working for someone. Budgeting helps you achieve this goal. It could be through investing. Author's style. You Need a Budget combines knowledge accumulated through years of experience, the YNAB rules, and elements of storytelling. In each chapter, Jesse Mecham shows how the rules and concrete strategies he has developed in YNAB are put into action, using real-life examples from his own and other people's experiences. He then answers questions that may worry anyone, such as how to talk about money with a partner or children or what to do when you feel like quitting. Overall, Mecham takes an informal tone rather than pushing stridently for readers to adopt his ideas, with the exception of taking on debt, which he adamantly opposes. Author's perspective. Jesse Mecham doesn't view budgeting as a tool to get rid of debt or to punish yourself and your family. His own experience with budgeting started with the help of his wife, Julie. When they got married on a low income, he now sees it as a liberating lifestyle that focuses on delaying your happiness until your finances are in order. He empowers readers to adopt the YNAB mindset to reach their personal goals and live stress-free. Closing. We hope you enjoyed insights on Jesse Mecham's You Need a Budget. Purchase the book to learn more.